I speak in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. I wonder if you know what the 10 top inventions are of the 20th century that have changed our life. According to Siri, my best friend, radio, antibiotics, television, aeroplanes, cars, computers, rockets, submarines, nuclear energy, and X-rays. These are the things that changed our world for us, all provided individuals and companies opportunities to manufacture and create jobs so that those working for them were able to profit from those goods. They provided the basis to find a job, do a day's work, and to go home knowing that you were earning, to provide for your family. Is that truly, though, what happened? For some, yes, but for thousands it was an opportunity of oppression, disadvantage, poverty, inequality, and the creation of the rich versus the poor gap widening even further. One of the greatest inventions has not been listed though, that of the trade union. For far too long, those with money, land and privilege shamelessly exploited those who had none. When after a long struggle, workers with no power except their own labour managed to stand together and force the issue with the rich and strong, it was a great day for the freedom of justice. But over the course of the 20th century, things changed. Exploitation and injustice often continued, and the unions often did a fine job in checking or reversing it. But other issues came into the picture and made life more complicated, more morally ambiguous. In many Western countries, the role of the unions has become quite different from those that their founders envisaged. In some cases, these have been for the better, in others, in my judgment, for the worst. I'll never forget my great-great-grandmother telling me about the miners' strike in the 70s. Obviously, I was far too young. When for months there were the power cuts, and Arthur Scargill maintaining the strike actions while thousands of miners stayed on strike with no pay. But Arthur continued to take a salary far higher than the miners, arriving at mines in his nice, flashy new Jaguar. Do you remember the day that he said that he was going to sacrifice a week's pay to support the strikes? Wow, a whole week's pay. Where is the sense and justice of one leading a strike with full pay, whilst thousands suffer in poverty, and which lead to the closure of so many mines which couldn't be restarted at the end, resulting in the loss of jobs and the impact on families? My favourite book is George Orwell's Animal Farm, where we see the landowner taken from power by the animals, only by at the end of the book, the pigs leading the animals and eventually being the new landowners, leading as those did that they took power from. Doesn't some of this resonate with that of today's gospel reading? Here we have Jesus accepted, for the purposes of the story, the social and economic power of the landowner, in order to say something about God. But what is he trying to say about God, and why is he saying it here? To understand this, we need to look more closely at the last group of the workers, the ones who were hired when only 1 hour of the day was left. Had they not been in the marketplace earlier? The vineyard owner questions them. why haven't you been working? Their answer is revealing. Nobody has hired us. Nobody has given us a job. Nobody, in other words, wanted them. They were perhaps the sort of people everybody tried not to hire. But the landowner hired them, and what's more, he paid them the same as the others that had worked long hours to reap the harvest. Let's pull this apart further. Jesus' representation of God is the landowner. He holds the riches to a prosperous life and the eternal promises. The workers represent God's people, Israel. The thrust of this parable is directed at the disciples to provide to them a warning about the danger they are supposing that Jesus is bringing the kingdom of heaven to earth, and that they may think that they are going to become rich and famous in return. He is stating to them that although they started out on this journey at the beginning and have laboured and suffered to bring God's message to his people and those in need, it doesn't mean that they will receive riches more than anyone else. God's grace, in short, is not the sort of thing you can bargain with or try to store up. It isn't the sort of thing that one person can have a lot of and someone else only a little. The point of the story is that what people get from having served God and his kingdom is not actually a wage at all. It's not strictly a reward for work done. God doesn't make contracts with us as if we could bargain or negotiate for a better deal. He makes covenants in which he promises us everything and asks us of everything in return. But he keeps his promises. He is not rewarding us for effort, but doing what comes naturally to his overflowing, generous nature. Those who work in the church circles, or as chaplains or missionaries, can easily assume that they are the special ones, God's inner circle. In reality, God is out in the marketplace, looking for the people everybody else tried to ignore, welcoming them on the same terms, surprising them and everybody else with his generous grace. Where are you in society? Do you feel that you are the lonely one? Do you feel that nobody wants you? If you do not be afraid and remember Isaiah's words. So do not fear, I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. I will leave you with the words from St. John's Gospel that reassures us that God is with us every moment of the day. Peace is what I leave you. It is my own peace that I give you. I do not give it as the world does. Do not be worried and upset. Do not be afraid. Go in the knowledge that God chooses each and every one of us at a particular time in life, and that the reward at the end is the same, no matter when he calls us. Amen.